Get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Salute. Smash that like button. Let's get it. Hydrating up. Get on this water today. Salute all the men. Bloodthirst, my guy. Appreciate you, man. Blasting that info. Get your magazine. Get that magazine. We're still pushing a hard line. Hey. Last time I checked, we still pushing a hard line. Salute. Twan Raw, what up, brother? Twan Raw, Dickie Foster, salute, brother. Let's get it in. Trackside, salute, brother. Bulldog Sunday. Hey, support them shows, man. Support those shows. Raffles, you know. Everything. I was talking to a dog man yesterday. And we had a hell of a good conversation, man. It was one of those ones I was like, dang. But I know he probably don't do social media and whatnot. You know, he's not on that, you know, which is understandable. You know, but you know, we had a good combo. Some of them, you know, everything gonna be on the wake and bake. Everything we can't put on here, but look, man, it was a great convo because it furthermore adds fuel to my argument that the dogs of today are better than the dogs of yesterday. And sometimes this could be a touchy topic. This could be a touchy topic, you know, kind of how the Jordan and LeBron, you know, a lot of the old timers, they don't want to never relinquish the greatness and realize that things have progressed, you know, even humans. I mean, there's a lot of dumbed down things in society, but overall, if you take the average 5-year-old, he's going to be hell of a lot smarter than your 5-year-old 50 years ago, right? you know. Um, and we say, oh, the dogs are back in the day, and you remember these dogs, and all for historical and these landmines, these historical monuments of animals, you know. But me personally, I've always thought that the dogs were getting better. I mean, I had some really good dogs back in the day, but just the magnitude of the good ones that you get today, of course, with the right breeding. I'm not talking about the guy that wasn't focused, that wasn't putting his 10,000 hours in, that wasn't, he lost all competitive nature. I'm not talking about a guy like that. Smash the like button. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the elite, the upper crust, right? Creme de la creme. Those guys, upper echelon. Um, I think when you're messing with these dogs, it's important that you get around people that have that same uh killer mentality, like perfectionist, different things, because when you see them move, it can only rub off, it can only make you want to sharpen your knife even more, make your dogs even better, have the better bloodlines. When you're around people that just really don't care, that's what your averages are right there. So I told him, man, how so? I didn't want to just, because some people, once somebody agrees with you, it's like they turn their ears off and just, forget about the whole conversation. But not only did I want to know that, people actually believe in my ideology, but I wanted to hear from him directly why he felt like that. One of the things was yards are smaller nowadays on an average. On an average, yards are a lot smaller. I got that picture of Mountain Man. Let me see if I can get it up there. Mountain Man. There's you see the Mountain Man in the background. It's deep in the background. And some of you have seen this picture. You haven't go research it. He's standing next to a guy right in front of his kennel. You know what I'm saying? It look, that big old sign on that kennel like that. It looks like you can probably see that from the road. So if we want to take it back, for the new guys that are getting in, there was areas in different parts of the world where, people had these large kennels and they had a on property type of billboard situation going on. That's legal in certain spots. You can advertise your business. I think in my area, I could advertise a business that I got going on, barbershop, whatever. And, or, if I'm selling candles or, whatever it is, relaxation, uh, essentials, I could have a sign in my yard. It can't be too big, but I could have a sign in my yard that is directing traffic to my business. But I can't just have a random billboard for like somewhere else, McDonald's or I can't I can't do that, with the regulations. So evidently back then, they could do that. Of course, I guess he had it tidy to where people's not going to come steal your dogs. Hopefully not. He's showing people where your kennel is, and anybody can just drive by and just see. It says kennels, and all of this. So, uh, and they didn't have it to this extreme. A lot of dog men, a lot of them did. A lot of them did. You know, I remember being in North Carolina. I was down there checking out the rat lifts. Went and visited the yard, and all of that. And within like a 5 mile radius, I saw a bunch of kennels, bunch of pit bull kennels. APBT kennels within a 5 mile radius, maybe less, maybe 2 mile. It seemed like a lot of kennels, and this was let's say about 20 years ago. I drove down there. Um, so a lot of dog man, you had your dog man with small yards, but you had a lot of dog man with big yards. And so with that, what that does to the epigenetics is if I got smaller yards, I got more time to put into my dogs. Right. Those puppies, he explained, those puppies are chasing a rag, at 8 weeks, or they're running the treadmill by 3 months. They're running, what I'm saying? They're doing spring pole or flirt pole at 5 months or something, 6 months. You know, by the time those dogs get up in age in the mature level to be, sound adults, they've already been through so much. They've already had so much socialization. They've already, you know. So in turn, when you're breeding those same traits, those same genetics, of course, over time, it's not just one. You take care of your dog and then presto, one breed, and you just get a whole bunch of working dogs. It doesn't work like that. But over time, those dogs would, it would code those type of activities into the future DNA of the dog. That's just my opinion. Right. We're not gonna break it down and get facts and everything in here. But he also said if you look at I forget what dog he said. It might have been, it was an old dog. You look at one of Tudor's dogs or one of those dogs right there, and you look at the pedigree. Seemingly, if we're looking at the decoration of the pedigree, that's winners, losers, fucking nothings. He said a lot of those old time dogs, they didn't have decorated parents and grandparents. Let that sink in. Go back, look at some pedigrees. I haven't done this yet. Vividly remembering it makes perfect sense. But like I said, I like to dig. I like to dig into pedigrees a lot. So, in your spare time, go look at that. Go look at the consistency that you're getting nowadays, or even if we want to say, whatever year, past 50 years ago, you go 50 and down, and then you go 50 and up. If you look at it from that lens, you're they've been able to produce way more on a consistent clip. Okay. He even alluded to, because I asked him, I said, so what do you think? You think people are They're getting more hip on how to breed dogs. He even said, like, you don't even really have to be hip. You just have to basically get a working line of dogs. And then, I mean, that's what he said. Now we could have dug in it. I was really just there to listen. I know he was putting his dogs in the show and winning trophies and ribbons. So, he didn't have all day to chop it up with me, although it was good to see a good friend I ain't saw in, maybe the better half of 6 years or something, 7 years or something. It was cool. If you look at some of those dogs, not all of them. Sometimes you get pockets of dogs to where they were decorated, but if you go look at those old dogs, they were getting one dog out of the litter here, one dog there, and they weren't really producing on a consistent clip. It goes to show about that whole ideology when they say keep the whole litter type of shit. It kind of, I'm not saying that that's what it is, but it kind of is leaning toward there. If you know what I mean, it's like, okay, you got to keep them all because your rate of you getting rid of the best one or the best one matters so much to where you got to keep the whole litter, and the other two brothers, they're going to be so trash that, it's the consistency. But nowadays, you look at pedigrees, you look at stuff even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, Mayday era, we can go back to any era and you'll see decorated after accomplishment after accomplishment, ROMs after ROMs, stuff that you never seen before way back when, right? Okay. I'm just saying, man, this he said he had 45 years. That's longer than I've been born, This guy got 45 years. He's in his 60s. So I'm just saying, man, you got to look at it for what it is. He said STP was one of the ones that changed the trajectory of the whole formula because they weren't really breeding off of pedigrees. They were just breeding best to best to best, and it was best to best. I mean, I don't know if they were or not, but this is just a conversation that was had, right? And if you look at their pedigrees, a lot of them are just decorated on top of decorated on top of decorated. And that formula worked for them. It worked for them, right? Now, if I look at it and I look at the pedigree, I mean, it's a little contradictory because the dogs are all excellent bred dogs. It's not like he had one that was bred like trash and then he's trying to get the best out of that. Which he alluded to. What I always say is that I don't care how good the dog is. If he doesn't come from a good family, I don't want it. He didn't want any anomalies to just pop up and be good out of nowhere. Brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, mom, dad, it's really nothing there great of significance, but you want to start a line off of this dog. He said he would not do that. So we had the same, the same twist to it, right? We had the same twist. Bloodthirst with the $5 holla. Appreciate you, my brother.
I never knew that I would do numbers like this. I make a move. I'm trying to win. Ain't trying to lose. I'm trying to win. Ain't trying to lose.
Yes, sir. Hey, appreciate you, brother, for all the support and donations. Everybody that got that magazine, hey, I appreciate the support. You know, the face-to-face, the hand-on-hand combat was great. You know, the hand-on-hand combat, being down there, moving them joints hand-to-hand, it was great. Please share the channel. Share what we got going on. Screenshot this right here if they're trying to get that APBT magazine across the world. You know, I'm shipping them to Europe. There's a different price. You know, you guys got to pay that $15. You know, they charge $15 to ship them to Europe. So it's a different price. But we get them out there. We got them out there. And everybody's enjoying it. I got to check on a couple people tomorrow or Tuesday. Make sure they got their mags. If not, I probably got to send a couple more off. But we've been getting it in, man. The magazine been moving. I got a weed stem in my throat or something. Musician, what up, brother? Jimmy James, Moore Keith, Mike Dan, what up? Nick Nack, what up? Yes, sir. Everybody, keep those dogs safe in these extreme heats. I got an article in the magazine about the heat index, shows you a good heat index. How fast the temperature can rise in the car on a sunny day if you're ever traveling with those dogs. But they're not gonna give you no slack, bro. You know, I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna unfold. You know, you're gonna leave your dog in the car in an accident, and if something happens to that dog, next thing you know, they want to come to your yard. And if you got one scar or one bowl that got tipped over, they're gonna say it's animal cruelty and that you're a dog fighter. So, it's a domino effect of things that happen all at the same time. We got to be careful. And even those chain spots, you know, those are yard. Everybody has those. Most people, you got a big yard, you got enough dogs. I mean, you tried not to, but on an average, every dog man's gonna go through a chain accident. I want to say once a year. Because think about it. If you have 2 chain accidents in that year and I have none, shit, that still averages out to one apiece. So the guy that's got 5 accidents, he had 2 this week. You know, we got guys that got 2 yard accidents in 1 week. So that's multiple dogs that can get scarring, and they'll say that it's consistent with dog fighting. Okay. So be careful. Paul Harris, my brother, salute. He said he don't even like talk about accidents. Keep that black cloud. One thing about it, trackside, I feel that 100%. But nothing never happens when you're thinking about it. You see what I'm saying? Never, bro. Even winnings, anything. It never happens when you're thinking about it. Right? So if you're on your swivel, you going out there checking that chain spot, you going out there making sure that axle ain't slipping up out the ground, or that goddamn collar that last time you fucked with it, you know, he wasn't looking like the truth. He wasn't looking like the truth, man. Salute to the Wake and Bakers. We get it in. I was over there on the Bubba Mac show yesterday. I was like, yeah, ain't nothing more than I was trying to get some good morning dog talk. I wasn't going to go up. I was going to go to the dog show. so I was like, I said nothing more than a nice blunt and some good dog talk on a Saturday morning. He was like, come on, Buck. You got to lose the blunt. Man, Bubba Max, man, look, bro. You a cool dude, bro. You a cool dude, man. We the Wake and Bakers. We the Wake and Bake. There's a large audience of people that get up and they either is gonna smoke some weed, right? That's what we do. That's what we do, man. This is the Wake and Bake show. But he got on my head, man. He said we need to quit smoking weed. Weed's legal. Last time I checked. You smoking weed, cigarettes? I mean, what's the difference? Some people smoke cigarettes. The fuck is the difference? We smoking. You feel me? Let me check out let's look at some peds, man. We 30 minutes in, man. Everybody smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Appreciate you. It helps the channel the most. Let me see. Yeah, I tell you, that Mountain Man dog, that's a good looking dog. A lot of good qualities. A lot of good qualities I see in those dogs too. Nigel, salute. Oh, yeah. Hey, man, that's what's up. That's what's up, Nigel. Salute. Rocco, what up? Are you waiting on that mag? Shoot me a text. I can't check it on the live, but shoot me a text if you need a mag or if you're still waiting. They got a bunch coming Monday. I know that. They got a bunch popping up Monday. There was a few people that hit me up and asked over the weekend or right before the weekend. So Monday, Tuesday. If you ain't got nothing by Tuesday, hit me up and we'll definitely get some more out there. I'm gonna drop some off tomorrow. I got a bunch of orders to drop off tomorrow, Monday. And then those, I'll have a date for those. But if anything that's been shipped out, if it's not there by Tuesday, feel free to just hit me up. You ain't even got a text. You could just call. You feel me? Tap in. That's what we do. If you call in on show hours, shit, you might be live. I'll troubleshoot it, all of that. It's all good, man. It's what we do. This platform is for us, so we got to serve us. Jermaine Jackson, need volume 1. Let me drop that link for you. Let me drop that link. APBT magazine. APBT magazine, y'all. Volume 1. Got some volume 1s. And I did it cold at the show. They were getting the volume 2. They were like, volume 2. You know, I was like, oh yeah. Look on the last page, the second to the last page. There's a QR code right there. Hit the QR code, order volume 1. Getting it in. They're going to link right there. You can snatch it up. Appreciate the support. Appreciate all the support, brothers. That's why they mad. Waking Bakers. Even the haters, hit the subscribe. Even if you're a hater, you'd be surprised. You do something good and don't think about yourself for once, good things will happen to you. Trust me. You can't sit and wait to do good things just to wait for something to come back, bro. You know, go do 200 good things and see what happens. Go out in the world and do 200 good things. I'm going to go pass out some clothes today, bro. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm not wearing, a bunch of stuff in the closet. I'm never going to wear it. You know, I'm going to go pass out some gear, shoes and whatnot. Do it. Just do it. It's easy to let it sit up in the closet for 6 more months. Get out there, make an impact. That's what we're trying to do with these magazines. This APBT magazine, it's a brand. We looking for superstars. We scouting superstars. That's what we want. Who's the superstar? Who looks good? Who's showing the dogs in a positive light? That's what we want to do. Pretty soon we're going to be big enough. We'll be giving out trophies at the shows. You know, the APBT magazine trophy goes to, you know, blah, blah, blah at the show, right? We sponsor that thing. Send the money in. Hey, go get that big ass trophy, right? We want that one. Oh, that one. Oh, they the same size? Okay, we want a size bigger. You know, the biggest trophy at the show, that's going to be the APBT magazine trophy. Oh, they got the 6 foot one that Borderland had. All right, we wanted 6'2". Fuck it. Let's get it, man. You know, I want to do it big, bro. I think this game has got potential because and I ain't even gonna lie, bro. It's people that's not on YouTube, bro, that amaze me at what they're doing. If ESPN came, or you know how they got the Westminster, you know, if those type of establishments came to the APBT right now or in the near future, I know people that, I mean, they are professional. They are professional. I watched a couple yesterday, and I've been watching. I don't know if she was married to this guy for that long, but I definitely watched her for over 20 years. And she was a judge also yesterday. the professionalism is out of this. It's off the planet. It's not even on this planet right now. And I could see this game going mainstream. I could see these dogs going mainstream. I really can. Some people will say, and I said it the other week, like, yeah, they're not for everybody. They this, they that. But it's going to be people like this that are going to save this breed. Okay. I'm going to tell you, it ain't going to be guys like me. I'm going to be the guy that maybe plant the seed and just do my work. But it ain't going to be guys like, with checkered past. And, it's not going to be one of those guys. I'm going to tell you that. But it's going to be somebody that is just checking all the boxes and understands professionalism. The guy, he's taking pictures the whole time, wife showing the whole time. I just never saw a team do it like that. They had multiple dogs in every category. And then she judged the show right before that. Great picks. I hit him up. I gave him a mag. Hopefully, I can get something really nice. Hopefully, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully, I can get something nice. Mountain Man Homer. So this dog was born in 79. So this would be 40, 45, 46 years. So then as you see, I mean, this is pretty decorated. I'm gonna be real. This is pretty decorated. So, but this is 45 and up. This is 50 and up, right? So as you go back, other than the blind Billy that's been bred a lot, there hasn't really been that much major action going on with a lot of these dogs, a lot of them, right? And then if it was, you rarely are gonna see, unless Daibo, Daibo was one of the best producers ever. You obviously see that this right here was working, right? Both of these guys, I believe, produced pretty good too, But then you look at his pedigree, Arizona Pete, Daibo, all those dogs. It was a drop in a hat, like the different dogs, and they kept track of it. And back then, it's totally legal to put it on here. Like if it was that, like you get this dog right here off a Turk. I don't know if you even got no sibling. You don't have a mom to even get a sibling, right? And these dogs were good. Some of they probably were scrapping it out. Maybe they were getting it in. I don't know. That's why it's good to look. But you just see way more consistency. Okay, so he was the truth. I believe he was. Some people will say that they will bring Daibo back before any damn dog, right? So that's then you get all of these dogs right here. So when you stay close to that, that's probably what's going to give you the good percentages. Okay. This don't have nothing. Let me see. Daibo. So this litter right here was a really good litter. Okay, that's this dog. Let me see if there's something else under here. Yeah, these is deep. This is deep in the rabbit hole. It still got that Daibo. It still got that Daibo influence. You got Centipede way back there. Like that's essentially just one dog in the back of this whole dog right here. Uh, you know, and you will see some that maybe might defy the odds of it, but it's not as consistent as you see in the recent years. Like let's just say 30 years and up. We look at everything from 30 years and up or 45, like we saw Homer. So they evolved from, I believe, from back here to where Daibo was, especially on the producing tip, because we really don't see much. You know, this one produced a champ right here. You look at the pedigree, that was let's just say it was a good dog. There's really nothing back here. You see nothing back here on most of the good dogs, most of the good ones from way back, right? Let's see this one off the Turk dog. Okay, that's the one we checked out. It's a ROM. Let's see who she produced. Not enough info. And I like to stick to the pockets that I believe did more. Arizona Pete, Daibo, Bambi. So this would be heavy on the Bambi dog, which was produced Daibo and Arizona Pete. So this will be my idea of actually trying to figure it out. Okay, they're doing the same type of deal, right? They took Arizona Pete back to his mama, got Minnie, took it back to the Arizona Pete's littermate brother Daibo, what some people say was better, was all around better. And then it kind of just goes off of the rails. Still getting that Daibo influence. Plumber's alligator back there. I don't know. This must have been an old ass dog. You can't trust every pedigree, man. I tell you. Oh, there go Mike Dan. Yeah, he. So you must believe that the dogs haven't gotten better. Let me guess. Yeah. Nah, they labeled them, man. They labeled them. There's plenty of them that are labeled. And there's plenty of those dogs that they just wasn't like that. Now I would rather hear that they didn't do them all. Like, okay, they just didn't do that one. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. But man, they label it, man. And if one thing about it, how I know they label them is because if you don't label it, let's say it's your dog and you don't label it, somebody else will. People done put my dogs up. I took my dogs down. People put them back up, you know. So they're not nobody that's got control over one pedigree. And I think everybody can they're gonna put it up there, man. They knew that dog was a champion. Your ass ain't around no more. Guess what? They were gonna put it on there. Right. That's why we see two pedigrees. A lot of times it's not the owner of the dog that puts the pedigree up, you know. But now I hear you though. I hear you. You don't hear it all the time. That was his ideology. I didn't really look at it like that, honestly. I just think if you look at dogs of more recent, you're gonna see far more action in the pedigree. And we can go to Bert Sorrell. I think Bert Sorrell got some of the most decorated pedigrees. We can argue that I mean, you look at some of them pedigrees, I mean, they were like Picasso's, literally. So, but a lot of his stuff was 30s and 40s, 30s and 40s and shit years ago versus 50s and 60s and 70 years, right? Homer's loaded, 45 years. He's loaded. This would be in my argument right here, His Homer's pedigree arguably is better than Rascal's, right? We can make that argument. As far as the decoration go, there ain't one ROM in there, not one. Okay, and they know who these dogs were. People knew they had the journals. They had a lot of things that we don't have today, right? Or 20 years ago. I think a lot of the stuff 20 years ago people probably wouldn't want to put it on here if you really want to be technical about it. I would say that the 20-year-old shit would be the stuff that people wouldn't want to put on here, you know. No, SDJ, it breaks in. It breaks in. Because I think the SDJ, didn't it come out in the 70s? When did the Sport and Dog Journal come out? So if it was in the 70s, it's probably started right on the cusp. Can't remember. But I want to look at it. I kind of agreed with him. And then I agreed even more when he said the yards got smaller, so people are able to socialize with the dogs and make them do more stuff, and they're just way more advanced. Okay, 72 SDJ. So we on the cusp. We on the cusp with that. So, that goes into it. But like I said, I don't want to dig too much. And then you look at Eli Jr. and all these dogs. I mean, he's loaded. This is a loaded ass pedigree. I'm not gonna lie. Mom off a 2-time winner. It's a working man's pet. It's not but it doesn't look. It almost looks gaudy, but it's not gaudy though. I've seen. If you take these names off, like take Eli Jr. and fucking Eli off, and then this is all you got. Replace those with just random names. Because only thing that's making this dog look that great is the fact that it's the most historical dogs in the pedigree. But that could have been a bad example. But I still personally I like because he's got the Eli Jr. and Eli in his too. Eli Jr., Brendy, Eli 3, Arts Missy, Bully Son, Lapasse's Buster. I mean, he's got a lot of dogs in there. ROM dogs, POR dogs. You know, this dog is the elevation. You look at Honey Bunch. Is she in the 50-year club yet? Probably not yet, huh? What's her birthday on this bitch? But you look at it, Scrub, Blind Billy, one time he got a loss. You know, that motherfucker's got a loss on there. You know, you got to add that. Carver Cracker got a loss. Bully Son got a loss. I mean, it's a good pet. Scrub, loss. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it ain't really looking, it's not looking ridiculous. It's not looking ridiculous. Like, yeah, you could do this. You know, you breed your 3-time winner, 1-time loser to it, and he probably curd out. Who knows? But you breed him, it's got the Trahan Rascal and all this, the Black Shine. We like that. We hold those dogs in high regard. But okay, Daibo. There you go. I'm giving you Daibo and Eli, because those dogs are just like historically famous. But if this was a regular pedigree, I would think it's a good one. But well, I mean, was Bully Son not a ROM? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah, ROM, right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I throw some more respect on Bully Son because I'm thinking like, damn, I thought he produced some champions though, so he did. You could throw that on there. They should have. I mean, of course, you're not gonna change this. It's been up there 25 years. They're not gonna change the pet, but you could definitely look at that. Let me see. Eli, was this motherfucker ROM? Bully Son couldn't get it done. Bully Son fucked up his ROM. He couldn't get it done. 1, 2, 3. That's all I see. Eli Jr. didn't, Bennett Clayton. He must have didn't he must have didn't want to get that more smoke with him. Like, fuck that. I'm gonna create a line after his ass. Was he a ROM? Okay, you get 2 for this. 3. Okay, that's art. So yeah, he wasn't an art. Eli Jr. was no ROM. He produced some ROMs, allegedly. Divine on that one. Great dog, man. But when you just look at the pedigree for what it is, like this, I mean, this ain't just like the most decorated pedigree you're gonna see. The mom did like this bitch. Who was she? Carver's Red Girl. Elias Pistol. Trahan's Rascal up close. Grandbaby to Black Widow and Daibo. Like how much more do you need? And this is pretty, man. You breed to some motherfuckers. You breed to okay, they got Bully Son ROM on here. Oh, that's yeah. Okay. And like I said, it proves my point. I said, nah, they're not gonna change it because and they got Eli Rom too. You see that? They got him bred a different way. See, this is gonna stir up some shit. They got Eli bred a different way on here. That is crazy. That's crazy work right there. That's crazy work. And who knows? Who knows? You look at this. I mean, this wasn't nothing back here. This ain't nobody doing nothing back here, man. These dogs. We can't just say that this brownie dog, because there's just not enough info. Like, okay, brownie, that bitch is a motherfucker. You know, she was just there. That bitch was a lot of these dogs. I mean, we could believe what we want to believe, but every pedigree wasn't constructed off of a great, everybody in the whole family's great. Just like your family. I told my partner this the other day. I probably told y'all, but your family comes with many different variables of people and different shapes and sizes and everything, you know. Um, you're gonna have some good people in your family, you're gonna have some bad people in your family, you know. That's just like with these dogs. You're gonna have dogs. You can't just be compiled of every single good dog. I think is great success in that, but I think you're missing something when it comes to genetics because other people could hold certain genetic things that you really need that are valuable, and it's just something you really can't overlook, if that makes any sense, right? So there's going to be other dogs that, yeah, they might have been like Carver's Judy, you know, right off of Black Shine, Amber Girl, and but probably didn't have the most decorated offspring, or you know, whatever would make them what it is. So I just think people learned, and they just started sticking to what's working, sticking to the producers. We could see different breeding practices and stuff. Yeah, they're breeding to the best of what they got, but some dogs are just gonna get in because you're in the family. You're in the family. You're carrying genetics. Just because you're bad or just because you're not as good doesn't mean that you don't have the same DNA coding. Dickie Foster. Salute, brother.
I never knew that I would do numbers like this. I make a move. I'm tryna win. Ain't tryna lose. I'm tryna win. Ain't tryna lose.
Yes, sir. Hey, man. Everybody support them dog shows. Support them dog shows. I don't care where they are. One of my partners was talking about, he's like, man, I should throw one. I'm gonna have to talk to him more about that, man. That's a good thing, man. It's a good thing for people to do. It's a good thing for people to do. Let's move around a little bit more, you know, even when you got to go out of town, you know, get those tickets ahead of time and make your debut, man. Make your debut, especially if you're on this YouTube. Especially. You can't just be behind the keyboard all the time. You can't. I got to get to that Riverside. I got to get there. I'm going to be talking about that all the way until it comes up. I'm putting that on my bucket list ASAP. You did? Ween, what up, brother? He said, trust them dogs with match, just not a lot of titles. So yeah, hey, we gotta have that argument one day. Mike Dan. I love to have that argument, brother. I would. I think it's a good one. I'm gonna stick to I think that the dogs of today are way better. And not only this, but that same guy that I was talking to, he been in. I mean, 45 years ain't a very long time. Let's be honest. 45 years ain't a long time. You know, I agree. It's not. But he even said that the dogs that he's had more recent and the dogs of today were better than some of the legendary dogs that he had back then. The legendary dogs that he's seen back then. You know, it kind of goes hand in hand. And if this guy, honestly, if he was just some guy that been in it 45 years and really ain't a legend, I wouldn't even think about what he was saying this deep. But the legendary status of this man and what he told me, you know, is enough. That's enough for me. Plus, I already knew it. I already knew that. I think people are way smarter now. I think we know how to look at the pedigree for more than just a piece of paper, right? That's important. We're knowing to add this, add that. Oh, it's got too much of this. Oh, it's doing this. Oh, it might got too much of that. Oh, it's acting like the red boy side too much. Okay, we know this. We know that. The equipment to train these dogs is phenomenal, right? We heard videos with Don Mayfield and different dog men. You know, they were talking. They were just now figuring out how to worm their dogs, bro. These are famous dudes. These are the same famous guys that we're talking about, right? They were just now figuring out how to worm their dogs, bro. I think one of the dudes said he never worms his dog. You know, so just the knowledge that we got, and people really understand. They've been able to create lines. They've been able to do all of these things. And there probably are still people lost in the sauce, because back in the day, even when I first came around these dogs, there were dudes that had great yards, but their dogs were by far they weren't good. They didn't have good dogs, you know. Yeah, it's based on this competition. That even if we go back to the Mayday days, Buck days, Yellow Buck, all of those dogs, the dog of the years, all of those dogs. Yeah, man, those dogs are better than the dogs of back in the day, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. They are. They're better. They better, bro. And I believe it. I believe it. People, they had a better sense of what to bring. I think it's more education, bro. When you get more education, it's just like saying the airplanes are back in the day were, oh, the airplanes are back in the day are better than, like, come on. We got cars that they drive by themselves now. You know, it's a new world. I'm talking to 40-something people right now. We couldn't do this. I couldn't tell 45 people at one time not to breed to this dog or to breed to this dog. This dog is producing good. Back in the day, people lived under a rock, bruh. You talk to a dog man a week, if that. Okay. You're probably hooking up with guys. You're probably doing this. You're probably doing that. But it's not like every day. You had to travel. Like the stories I talk about, Mr. Burns and all that shit. Because I never talked to Mr. Burns on the phone. Right. So every time I talked to him was in person. You know, I had to fly and go see these different dog man, checking out different stuff. Long distance, that you run up a long distance phone bill, that's a lot of money, bro. But now I could text 5 dog man right now and get the cure for balbesia, or we can figure out why this tapeworm is taking dogs down, or we can figure out how to build this treadmill. I can go on YouTube right now and figure out how to build a Jenny or a slap mill in real time, right? You're seeing people, competitions. They're doing more competitions. We're maintaining the dogs a lot better. The setups are a lot better today. I mean, we could talk about today. People talk about my yard. Your yard, it was in shit. And, the people talk, a lot of them old timers, dogs, their yards was shitty. They was. The setups weren't as good as they are today. They not. They got 100 dogs. By the time that dog is 2 years old, then they're trying to put that dog and school them. A lot of times they couldn't even get their hands on them dogs. Them dogs were skittish. You just keep him on a chain until he's 2 years old. How many old timers told me that shit? Like, let's be honest. See, we gotta be real with reality now. How many old timers have 100 dogs, 75 dogs, and kept them dogs on a chain and never touched them until it was time to school them? I'll wait. And then nowadays, you got dogs doing everything. They're competing in dog shows. They're doing wall climb. They're just way smarter, rounded off athletes than back in the day. And one thing I noticed, we never talk about the curs that people had. People had a whole yard, cur out their whole yard, dog. Stop it, bro. See, we got to stop and act like, and it's some dog manna today that we worship. People call out whole yards of that shit. Say it's trash, bro. I'm telling you. I do my research. I talk to old timers, man. I talk to Brian Bailey's. I talk to a lot of guys. A lot of guys, bro. And it'd be a whole bunch of cur ass litters that you never hear about. You never hear it. But see, what we want to do is we want to sit up here and act like the old times shit didn't stink. See, we're not going to do that. Not on Buck City. We ain't going to do that. The same old timer told me to breed the fucking dog out of, I was trying to buy a dog off. I ain't going to say their name because they're going to think I'm hating. I was trying to buy a dog, and a dog, man, the bitch was 11 months old. I was going to buy her. I wanted to breed to the dog, but back then transporting was a lot. Like you fuck around and pay $700, you pay $1,000 for if you only getting one dog. Oh, you know what I'm saying? That it costs a lot of money because he just coming over there for one dog, And so he told me that the bitch was in heat and I should stick her, and he'll charge me this. I said, bruh, why would I do that? That dog hasn't been looked at. It's nothing to her. Like, what's to her? He was like, the DNA is not going to change based on the dog's age. That's where I got that from. And in a lot of ways, it's true. In a lot of ways, that's unethical breeding. Right? It is. It is, man. I think the dogs have I think they have evolved, bruh. Those dog man, they were trying to get you to buy more dogs, bro. They weren't trying to set you up to so that you could be sustainable. They living out there in the sticks. They phone only ring a couple times a week, bro. Unless it's the family that live fucking next door or some shit in some cases, you know. So when that phone ring, a lot of these dogs, they made a living off these dogs. Like just the same living that they tell us today don't do. Oh, don't make a living off the dogs. You stupid if you make a living off the dogs. But then once somebody says something about Tom Garner or any other dog, man, Mountain Man got literally a sign in his front yard that says game dogs, American game dogs, right? That you could see from the road. Like if you're driving by, you could see it from the road, bruh. The same Jeeps and shit that was in the Gazettes and shit for fucking $200 for stud, $400, right? I always go for the underdog. I think there was a far more dogs that don't never get seen that were better than the dogs that we saw forced upon us, yellow and shit. Those guys, because everybody didn't have the savvy to get their dog in a book. That's why we got APBT magazine, because it gives you, oh, I could just call Buck. That's my homie. Hey man, what's up? Let me get a page in there. I got 2 pages I want to do. What's up? Let's line it up. But back then it wasn't this easy. It wasn't just people just wasn't doing it all the time. But then you got your Gary Hammonds and people worship these guys. And I'm not saying these guys, but you go to them yards, the best yard, you show me the best yard right now, and I'll rewind this 50 years ago, and we could go to that yard right now with a bunch of bulldogs, and we could probably cur out 80% of the whole yard. And these are dogs that you guys buy your dogs off. That's all I'm saying. Them Eli dogs, all them dogs, yeah, there were some good dogs. Yeah, they had some mouth. Yeah, they did this and that. But they also had far more percentage of curs than anything else. Than any of that mouth, than any of that ability, than any of that shit. You put all that shit in a pile, and the biggest shit pile is going to be those curs. Oh, I know. We want to act like that never happened. I know. You want to have those dogs, you better have a big yard. Where did that start from? That didn't start from Red Boy dogs. I ain't gonna cook too much. I got to get to the lake. I mean the river. We about to float down the river. We about to float down the river this morning. It's supposed to be a nice day. I know we probably gonna be out there early getting it in. But nah, appreciate everybody for pulling up. All my waking bakers. Hey man, everybody, appreciate everybody. Hey. He said it's like that at y'all yard too. Mike Dad gonna fight, boy. Mike Dad, he gonna fight to the end, goddamn it. But look, I'm glad I stirred this one up. Let's have this conversation. I might pull up later, or we're gonna do the regular wake and bake. I'm trying to get back in the scheme of things. Make sure you get that APBT magazine. That APBT magazine is out. APBT magazine is hot. Get that joker. You know what it is. We keeping it all the way lit. you know, straight up wake and bake. What else? Oh yeah. Okay. Burning Star, all y'all, you know, get it in, man. Lamont Grant, see you, brother. Let me see. Dirty Dog Kennels, I see you, brother. Live Your Life Dogs. I think I seen Nation's Best Kennels in the building. Ween Mule, Mike Dan, Rocco, Trackside, Jermaine Jackson. Salute to you. Glad you could make it in. Blow one with your boy. RBG. You know how we do, man. We getting it in like always, man. Wake and bake, man. Hey, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe on your way out. And we're gonna keep building, but I'm gonna get to this river. I might take a couple pictures, throw it on the thing, let you guys see CC in the raft floating down the fucking river. You dig? I'll see you on the next one, y'all. Peace.